Hello my friends. Black Myth Wukong didn't win Game of the Year, even though it had an immersive storytelling, breathtaking environments and jaw-dropping battles. Why is that? This isn't a professional review, as I'm not a reviewer, but as a gamer who was in a slump lately, I think I should talk about the game that helped me get out of it. Let me know if you can relate in the comments. Like I've said, I've been in a slump lately, not finishing games or playing them just for the sake of it. I think most of you can relate to that sentiment. Something did not click. It was like I was playing variations of the same game, if that makes sense. Or that they put so many rules in my gameplay that I just end up mashing some buttons and going from point A to point B without any consideration to what lies around me. Nothing felt vivid. Inadvertently, I reach the question, why am I playing this? Why did I even buy this product? When Wukong first hit the shelves, I, as most of you, were reluctant to buy it, as the reviews were controversial and the price high, at least for me, that I'm unemployed at the moment. But I had this lingering question. Why is it that reviewers are trying to put this IP down? Aren't we supposed to celebrate when the gaming community receives something new? Seeing so many failures in the past few years, aren't we supposed to welcome developers who try new things? That doesn't mean to accept bad products, but at least be a little lenient in our judgment. When the conversation moved towards the political ideology, I knew that something doesn't add up. People were enjoying the product, and thus maybe it was time for me to stop reading reviews and buy it to see for myself. And boy, did I make the right decision. Don't get me wrong, I'll not glaze the game as many of you think. It does have flaws, and I do have some criticism. However, it is nowhere near as bad as some people made it look. In fact, playing Wukong made me remember why I enjoy video games. The game is just fun. Even if I understand that some of it might be a little too much difficulty-wise, the devs try to push you to explore by making the bosses harder. If you don't, some items that are optional and tied to the main story make your journey easier. And if you don't explore, you'll pay the consequences when fighting certain bosses at the end of the chapters. I didn't mind it, but I do understand why some feel like it's a false sense of freedom. And in fact, the only way to play the game and enjoy it fully is to go everywhere and search guides on quests that you might have missed. The game starts with an epic battle scene between gods, and you immediately feel what your character is working towards, which was a nice touch. You see the end product and you get hooked in the very first moments of the game. Then you get cast down on Earth, broken. Your power dissipates and you, as a reincarnation of this cosmic constant, embark in an epic journey to find yourself. Sounds cool, doesn't it? Anything about this is relatable, somehow. In each chapter you find a part of yourself, just like us humans strive to find ourselves in our journey through life. And this brings me to my favorite part of this game, the relatability. When I decide to invest my time into a video game, I want to lose myself, however I do not want to waste time. The media that I decide to watch or play must offer me some value in return. And Wukong did just that. In chapter 5, I stood there watching the end video and thinking, how easy is it to let yourself be controlled by anger and make hasty decisions that in the end bring your downfall? This is what I'm expecting from a game like this, and it delivered. Now, the parallels that most people draw is between Wukong and Souls-like games, but for me it didn't feel the same. I am playing Elden Ring right now and I don't get the same feeling from them if I put them one next to each other. I did though when I play God of War. If I have to compare the two in spectacle and pure awesome moments, then God of War wins over Wukong. However, if I were to introspect a little, then Wukong speaks to me at a more personal level. While in God of War I felt like I was in a cinematic experience, in Wukong I had the impression that I was growing alongside my character. This is where my first and biggest criticism comes from. My character didn't feel not even remotely like he was, I don't know, the iteration of this ancient being. As a matter of fact, it felt like even after all that we've been through, he still was empty inside with no personality. While I was expecting a funny and problematic protagonist, he was a mute that didn't seem to fully understand what was happening around him and did not care. I saw parts of myself in the chapters I played, but not in the protagonist, and this is a major problem in a story that should lead you towards enlightenment. Another problem that I have with the game is that you need to finish it many times in order to get the most out of your character. The Wukong stance is unlocked after finishing the game 3 or 4 times, I think, and some weapons you unlock the same way. My question is why? Why don't you want me to play with a fun stance that represents my character as soon as possible? Maybe after the first NG Plus playthrough is done. Why gatekeep something that would benefit the feel of your game?
He broke her into pieces.
The game is stunning. The meditation spots that you find across the land while you explore give you not only a much needed calm moment that helps you see the beauty all around us, but take our focus away for a while from all the fighting. You run, you elbow your way through problems, but at a certain point you have to stop and digest. This brings me to the combat. I love it. Every time you manage to pull a perfect dodge, you feel like a god. Some fights are so cinematic that you forget to get out of the way and let the boss hit you just because that moveset was just too damn awesome. This happened to me with the non-able boss fight, and one of my favorites. The strange thing about this game is that it doesn't get harder as you progress. As a matter of fact, the more you play, the easier it gets. Logical, but not necessarily in games like this. By the end of the chapter 4, between the items you have collected and the confidence in your own skills, make you a force to be reckoned with. As a matter of fact, in chapter 5 I encountered only 2 difficult bosses and one of it was optional. While I enjoyed the way they told the story, especially the animations at the end of each chapter, I still had troubles following the narrative. In order to understand it better, you need to read the logs, and if you want to go overkill, then the book. But don't take my word for it, maybe I'm just slow. For example, when I reached chapter 6, I was certain that there was another chapter waiting, because that couldn't be it. I felt like something was missing, and chapter 6 didn't do a good job in providing the missing pieces. The layout of the map is often confusing and empty. You are left alone with your sorrows, so to speak. While I might understand the reason behind it, I still felt like chapter 6 was rushed. The last boss, in ordinary fashion, is the best one. Pure cinema, so to speak, where you stand there and enjoy the ride. Sure, you do your best to dodge and fight a strategy for this lengthy fight, but this time you feel like you're a martial artist, that it is doing this not for attaining loot, but for pure joy and defeating your own self, just to re-emerge as new and hopefully a better self. My final thoughts are that I had a blast, and this was the best purchase of the year for me. It might not be gaudy material for the reasons I already mentioned, but it's a must-buy in my opinion. With Black Myth Wukong, we were graced with another great title in the gaming scene, and we can only hope that future iterations and DLCs will do it justice and improve in an already strong foundation. Sometimes it takes the right game to remind us why we play, to escape, to explore, to grow. For me, Wukong was that game. If you made it this far, then thank you, my friend. Let me know in the comments what you think about the game, and if you enjoyed this video, think of give me a like and a sub. It would help me to make more of these videos in the future. See you in the next one.